And good morning. I can see that we are live, so welcome. I'll just flip over to my camera. And good Thursday morning in Australia, or maybe you've just flipped over into afternoon, and it would be evening in the US, evening or afternoon on Wednesday. I'm in a slightly different location today. I'm in my classroom. I did some work in here with the computer yesterday, so I've decided to leave it set up in here, and we'll see how it goes. I am sitting down, which I am not used to. I usually craft standing up. So hopefully, though, I have everything within reach behind me, so I won't have to go very far if I've forgotten something. So let's see, it's Brenda. Hello, Brenda. How are you this morning or this evening in your part of the world? Let me know if you can hear me okay. And we're going to do a little bit of what I call free creating today, which I have some ideas, but I haven't put a card together yet, so we'll just see how we go. Got a few things to try, and we'll see what we like the best. While we're waiting to see if anyone else is going to come along, I will do a little bit of homework. So let me click over to my upcoming classes. So these are my, they're not all in person, but I have classes on Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th of December. So one on Monday is a private class with Michelle, and Tuesday I have my regular class in the afternoon. There's a few people booked in already, but there is space, so let me know if you would like to come along to that one. On Saturday, we have the final in-person class of the year. It's a high tea and some cards between 12:30 and 4:30. It's in my classroom here, but I will need RSVPs by the 6th so that I can cater for the high tea during the week and get enough card kits done. So please let me know if you would like to come along. Just send me a message, or and you can send me an email, a message, by phone, however you want to do it. But that's a complimentary day, so it's pretty casual. You can come along for just an hour. You can stay for the whole time, totally up to you. But there will be a delicious high tea all set and waiting for those who attend. You are cold and you've got lots of snow. Oh, I'm so jealous, Brenda. I think I would love to live somewhere where there's snow. I love living in cold South Australia, even though it's not that cold today, because we've just headed into summer here. Hello, Barb. How are you? Now, Barb is really as far from snow as you could probably get. I don't think there is a snowball's chance in hell of Barb ever getting snow where she lives in Queensland. But yes, I love the cold weather. I hate summer. So we've got lots of hot weather coming up here. All right, so there are my classes. I do have a team event. If you are in my team and watching, I have an online team event on Sunday the 14th. And that's just to say hello and gather up for the end of the year for all of my team girls who can't make it along to see me live on Saturday the 13th, to see me in person on the 13th. We'll do a team creative on Sunday the 14th. News from Stampin' Up is we have the product of the month has come out. The first one that they are promoting has come out on the 2nd of December. So it is, how does it work? Well, instead of doing celebration during January and February, they've cancelled that, and they're now going to have a product of the month every month, which you can purchase at a discounted price if you reach a certain sales or purchase threshold. So once your shopping cart gets to 125, dollars Australian, that is. I'm not sure what it is in Canada or the US, Brenda, but in Australia, it is $125 once you get that in your shopping cart, so that's before any discounts or applying any rewards. Then a little pop-up will come up and say you have earned the product of the month if you wish to purchase it at $9. It's $9 Australian, and it is DSP this month. Every month it will be something different, but they're starting out with designer series paper, and I do have a photo of it. So it's 12 by 12 inches, and these are the designs, and they are so pretty. I love this one. Oh, you probably can't see my mouse. I've got my mouse going here. I love the at the bottom, the second from the left is my favorite. So there are lots and lots of samples for you to look at that people are posting, that Stampin' Up have provided, and people are posting, and I'll post a few in my socials shortly. But it is a very pretty paper, and it is available for $9 during December if you make a purchase, and you can be a regular customer or a demonstrator. Doesn't matter who you are, as long as you are spending that $125 retail. So that's something to think about. Now, I am thinking about how I'm going to promote the product of the month, because generally I would purchase it, but then it will only be current for the time that it is available. If it sells out, you won't be able to get it anywhere else, or again, once it's sold out, it's gone. So I think that maybe if I do get the product of the month during the month, I will schedule a little class in the following month. So this would be January, to get together with anyone who purchased the paper or who earned and purchased this paper, and do a little class and utilize some of the beautiful samples that are out there and create with that paper. Also, I don't have a graphic for it, but the last chance list updated at the start of December. So with the last chance list with Stampin' Up, as we used to have a retiring list, but now what they do is they move things over into the last chance list. And so until they are sold out, they will be available on the last chance as last chance items, and they're generally at a discount. So it is well worth going in. If you don't want to go in and download the actual list, if you just go to the shop and go down to specials and then last chance, and all the items that are on the last chance list will come up, and they will show the different discounts. And some of them, a few are at 60%, some are at 40, some are at 30, some are at 20, some are at, it just depends how much stock they've got. So once things are sold out off the last chance list, that's it. They won't be available anymore. They're gone. So well worth keeping an eye on that. And if there is stuff on your wish list that you didn't quite get to, then now's a good time to go in and see whether it is on that list and at a discount. So that is all of my homework. Did I see Sharon come in? Yes. Hello, Sharon. How are you? I bet it's not snowing where you are either. I love that you're under your quilt. It's $100 in Canada. Cool. Great. And you love the overcoats, the boots. Yes, I do love everything that goes with cold weather. The only thing is that I often, in our winter here, feel, excuse me, I'm just going to cough. I'm just going to turn my volume down while I cough. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I often feel sorry for anyone who might be living on the streets, because it must be incredibly cold sometimes when you're living on the streets and dealing with the cold weather. But when I'm all tucked up in my nice little under my quilt, Brenda, I love the cold weather. Sharon is waiting at Wesley Hospital for your husband's Botox injections. I'm assuming that he's having Botox for a medical, they use Botox for medical things, don't they? I hope you've got the sound turned down then, Sharon. Maybe, I don't think I've got subtitles on, so we will. You are very multi-talented dealing with all that. All right, so let's get started. So as I said, I'm creating with the Creative Haven bundle today, which is the bundle that we use for the All-Star Tutorial bundle for this month. And I'm very slack and haven't got it set up in my shop yet, but I'll do that and put that up. So that's 12 videos all featuring the Creative Haven or the Hobby Haven suite of products, which came out in November as an online exclusive. So I'm going to pop you over to the desktop. Now I'm a little out of my comfort zone because I am sitting down in a different space, so hopefully this will all work. Now that's pretty light because I've got a window here, but let me see what it looks like when I put the lights on. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay. So I've got all sorts of light going on here. It's very bright outside, so maybe it's better without the lights, just like that. It's probably okay like that, hey? Then you don't get the glare from the lights. Cool. All right, so this is the Creative Haven stamp set. It's photopolymer. It's the new packaging. I've got it out of the envelopes. These are the envelopes that come in. So most of you will have seen the new size in the envelopes. And then these are the stamps. They're all photopolymer because they are doing away with their the rubber stamp sets now. But this is how I am currently. I'm not sure whether I'll keep doing this, whether I will even be bothered doing this, but I have stamped my image. The images come on a smaller piece of acetate and they're all sort of jumbled around. Well, I took mine and put them on a larger piece of acetate and lined them up with the front. Then I transferred them to another piece of acetate and stamped them onto the back. So I've ended up with 2 sheets of acetate and a white sheet of cardstock because I couldn't bring myself to stamp on the actual cover. But in the end I may do that because the 2 pieces of acetate certainly give it quite a bit more rigidity. But when you are finished with them, we're using this one today, when you are finished with them you can sort of put them down the way that they stamp face down onto there, close that up, press it, and they should come back up. Now if this one's not going to because I have been using it, but what you'll know to do that is now not as sticky as it should be, and just give it a wipe over with a wet cloth. Whoops. And it should, because I've obviously got something, my blocks aren't the cleanest, something on it, then press it down, and then next time you open it, cross your fingers. It's not going to stick because it's wet. But anyway, usually they come back and stick on this side. But I guess it doesn't matter if it stays on this side. You know where it is, and you know whether any are missing or not because you can sort of see them from the back side here. Anyway, that is what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm going to just run with it and see how that works. This one I just did the normal, put the magnet in, and everything's on the magnet. But you do have the images now on the front of the paper sheet that goes in the envelope. Who else have we got here? Leonie. Hello, Leonie. How are you? So Sharon's saying that the Botox is for neurological headaches, which causes him a great deal of pain. Oh dear, I'm thinking that I'm not liking where he must be having the Botox injections then. That would be very painful. And Barb used to wear all warm clothing, yes. And Sharon says, how stupid is our weather at the moment? Boiling hot 1 minute, freezing cold the next. I know, right, Sharon? It is like that. It seems to be like that all over Australia at the moment, and it is so bizarre. It was so cold the other day, and I thought, it's summer, like the start of December is summer, and it was so cold. And then yesterday it got quite hot, and today is quite hot, although here in my little house, I'm still quite chilly in my craft room here. So it's very bizarre. And there's storms and all sorts of weird weather patterns going on. It's very, very strange. Anyway, our poor vegetable garden, those vegetables don't know what's going on. Our strawberries got a real run on, and then all of a sudden they all sort of went, oh, it's winter, and they all pulled back, and we haven't seen any for a couple of days. Anyway, this is what we're creating with. So it's lots of sentiments, and then there's these taggy shapes in the dies. These are great for stamping and then doing stamping and embossing in white, and then doing a resist over the top, like colouring, and which is what I did for my tutorial bundle card in the All-Star tutorial bundle. So I did some watercolouring over emboss resist and then added a shaker element to it. So it was quite an involved card in the tutorial bundle, but today I'm going to keep it a little bit simpler. So we are going to use that one that I pulled out that is not sticking to the right place. So I'll put that on a block, and I am so uncomfortable sitting down to craft. So uncomfortable. It feels so wrong. Anyway, I haven't sat down to craft for a long time. I've got some white cardstock. We're going to stamp this in 2 colours. So I'm going to stamp it in, I've got them here. We'll start off with Coastal Cabana. Ink that up, and I'm going to stamp in the middle because I'm going to cut this out into a tag shape. Now, please let me know if the light fades, if big clouds come over. So Sharon says, snowing in Tasmania, we had 40 degrees last Thursday, and today in Brisbane is only 27. Oh, so it's a bit cooler in Brisbane. Yeah, but that 40-degree day, wow. And then, of course, you had all that rain and hail. That was very bizarre, evening after evening. Were you away when they had all that hail, Sharon, or were you at home? Now, I'm going to stamp this again. So that's come up quite well, just like that, nice and bright. But I'm going to stamp it again with Pool Party and create a little bit of a drop shadow with it. One of the great things about the photopolymer stamps. Now, I don't even have to clean this off. Most of the inks come off, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp. If I was using radically different colours, I'd probably clean it off, but these are quite similar. Now, this is where I'm going to struggle. I am going to have to stand up because I need to get this. So line it up as best you can over the top. I think I've got that about right, and then go down slightly and across slightly to create just a little shadow. Cross your fingers that I got that right, because without the light on, I'm struggling to see. Oh, that's pretty good. So let me lift that up a little bit closer. So you can see now it's got that Pool Party shadow around it. So really one of the great things about the photopolymer stamps, I actually prefer the rubber, but you know, it is what it is. I can understand the reasoning for not staying with the rubber, but I will miss the rubber stamps. But there are a lot of really good elements to do with the photopolymer stamps as well. So Sharon is home at Gagango in the heat. Is that how you say it, Gagango? And we are supposed to get storms, but we have a dome over us at the moment. Ah. Okay, so that's sort of, I guess that's keeping it a little bit hot too. Now I'm going to die cut this. I shouldn't be, I'm having too good a time talking to you girls, and I'm losing track of what I'm doing. The Stampin' Cut and Embossed dies here they have 2 tag shapes, which is what we're going to use. So I'm going to use the larger one and the smaller one. They also have all these other shapes that you can turn into tags by using all these little hole cutout pieces. I haven't actually used any of them yet, but they would be quite fun to add little holes to these other shapes to make them into tags. So it does give you a lot of flexibility with those. And these shapes will fit lots of sentiments, lots of other, you know, anything that you would normally use a tag for are going to be great. And these little holes are going to be great for some of your other die shapes to also make tags with them. So these ones fit nicely inside these shapes, but you could certainly adapt them to some of your other die shapes. Yeah, you're sad about no rubber too. That's right. It doesn't work as well, which I did discover, which we are going to experiment with today. But I have discovered that as well, and it's they're a little bit harder to apply into, but we're losing the markers anyway, so we're not going to be able to do that. But yes, I'm probably much like you, Sharon, have been stamping for a long time, and rubber was always the thing when I first started. It was the only thing. So Barb likes the rubber stamps too, and Brenda says she was concerned about using StazOn. Yes, on the clear stamps, but I dipped it lightly in Versamark and then the StazOn, and it wiped off easily. That is a fabulous idea, Brenda. I'll have to try that, because I also was concerned, because the general consensus is that has always been not to use StazOn on the clear stamps. I will say that the photopolymer has improved remarkably since we first started using photopolymer. Some of my photopolymer stamps that are on wood have gone totally hard and you can't use them anymore. This is much better. But what I do is I'm trying not to worry. If I need to use StazOn, I do. I clean it off with the StazOn cleaner, but in my mind it is the StazOn cleaner, which is a solvent. It takes the, it's meant to take the ink off. So as long as I clean that off well, and then I have my Stampin' Scrub out, and after I've cleaned the StazOn cleaner off, I then use some Stampin' Mist and clean the stamp with Stampin' Mist in my Stampin' Scrub, and I find that it removes any of the smell, and so I'm hoping that it will remove any of the corrosive type factors in either the StazOn ink or the cleaner. But yes, and you know, these lighter colours are great, that I've just used the blues, but then as soon as you put red to your photopolymer, they are pink forever. That colour is not coming off. And I just have to let go of the fact that you can't clean them as well as you do the rubber. But, you know, we will adapt. We always adapt. So it is what it is. You just have to work with it. Now, going to cut this one out with the small die. So I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine just here. And I will grab some tape to hold that in place. So we'll line that up. I'm sitting down and my head's knocking the camera, so I'm so sorry if it's rocking. So we'll move it up so that we've got a bit of space at the top, because I am going to do 2 tags and tie them together. So we'll run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which I've got right here. And I have already cut the larger die out of Pool Party. So we'll run with that. So I've cut this one out of Pool Party already. So that's our 2 tags done. I better get my skates on. I'm being very slow here. This because nothing is where it usually is. Rubbish bin's over there. So these are sort of going to go together like that. Now let's move on to the card base. So I have I've pulled out Night of Navy to use as my card base. A standard card base. So now I didn't write this down, Brenda, but it's no, it's not A. I can't remember what size. Your standard card base size in the US, in Imperial, or in Australia, it's your 10.5 by 14.8 or 14.9, depending on how you cut it, and a standard A4 piece cut in half, basically, and then folded. You start with letter size, I think, and then comes down to some other size, which I don't know what it's called in the US, and I believe you use the same in Canada. We had a discussion about this the other day, didn't we? That you're actually metric, but you use the US sizing. Now, what next? Okay, so I have here let's have a little bit of fun with some embossing. So I have here some bubble bath cardstock, and I've pulled out and lost it, because you know I do like things like that. Must be here somewhere. The beautiful pattern 3D embossing folder. So this is an online exclusive from November, and I think it came with the Brushed with Beauty suite. I think I should write all this on the label, shouldn't I? Then I don't have to think, it's all there. I'm going to pattern this up before I run it through the embossing folder. So the Creative Haven, even though it has leaves in the dies, does not have any leafage or foliage stamps. So I did go hunting, and I found the Natural Botanicals, which is, it's been around for a little while now, and I don't use it enough. It's a little deceiving because the images on the front are quite small, and then you open it up and they're quite large. So I've pulled out this leaf here and put it on a block, and that's what we're going to use. So I do have Bubble Bath ink here. I've got 3 different pinks: Bubble Bath, Pretty in Pink, and Flirty Flamingo, because I'm going to play around with a couple of different things. So will I use Pretty in Pink or will I use Bubble Bath? We'll use Bubble Bath for this one. Open that up, and we're going to do some full strength and some generational stamping and see how it works, Sharon. Maybe too light, so we'll just have to see. This one almost is too large to ink this way. That sort of works. Now I'm going to randomly pattern this onto my cardstock. So we've got one. Now I could just stamp it again, but there'll be some parts of it that have come off the edge, and that will leave a mark. So I will ink it up and stamp it off, just to be sure that I don't ink it up. So we stamped it off, and we will just put a lighter shade of ink somewhere in here. So it is very, very light. So I think, so Sharon is completely correct. It doesn't stamp off very well. So we'll go through and we'll put some on with, just got to get these so they work, some on with full strength Bubble Bath, and then we might use some Pretty in Pink as well. I just need to leave space. Leave some space for the Pretty in Pink. So I'll stamp these randomly around the place. Now I'm going to tear the bottom, so I'm not too worried. We'll leave a bit of space for some Pretty in Pink. So I'll just put a little bit down here. All right. Now this is a light ink, so I don't have to worry about cleaning it off. Let's see how dark the Pretty in Pink is. Just going to flip this over, just so I can practice. So when you stamp it off, it almost comes back down to Bubble Bath. So we'll stamp it full strength. I told you this was a big experimental day. Not sure what I'm really doing. We'll put a little bit in there, and we'll put one in here, and then I'll just add some extra little scooches around here. All right, so that's one. I'm going to emboss that with the beautiful pattern 3D embossing folder. However, I am going to try another technique. So actually I'll just run this through quickly and we'll see what it looks like. So I'll need my specialty plate because it's a 3D embossing folder. So I've got my specialty plate and we will run that through my Stampin' Up emboss machine. And that's what it looks like. All right, so now I'm going to try another technique and I'm going to actually and see how much of a difference it makes. So that's what it looks like with the 2 different coloured inks and then embossed. But I'm going to stamp it into the embossing folder on the flat side, which is the top. So we'll just turn that round. And I know that Bubble Bath is probably not going to show this. It's going to be much lighter. So I'm going to use Petal Pink, and maybe I've pulled out Flirty Flamingo to get the 2 different tones. So this has Pretty in Pink on it already. So we'll do a few Pretty in Pink. So this is the same thing, but we're going to do it onto the embossing folder. So it's slippery. So you have to hold it quite carefully. So we'll leave some space for the darker ones. It might turn out, you know, pretty much exactly the same. Who knows? Bring this one right up in here. The thing that gave me this idea was, remember that card I did the other day, and it was I made a mistake. And I ended up with that different shading in there. So I thought, well, I wonder if I probably wouldn't be able to do that by accident anymore. But A2, thank you very much, Brenda. A2, I'll just try and remember that. So now I've got Pretty in Pink, and not Pretty in Pink, Flirty Flamingo, which is quite a bit darker. So I haven't cleaned it because it's a lighter ink that was on there before. I'm just going to fill in the gaps with the darker ink. Again, being careful not to be too heavy because it will slide on the slippery surface. I'm just trying to see where I've stamped and where I haven't. And then we'll fill this little gap in here. Tough to go over the fold, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, I've missed a bit here, but our paper is narrower. So let's see. Close these up. That won't dry for a little while because it's a non-porous surface. So now we will flip this around and place our paper in here. Like that, and then fold this over on top, and then run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Let's see what it looks like. It's almost identical. I've just used different colours. I'm just going to clean out my folder. Maybe if I'd used totally different colours it might have been better. So I'm just seeing whether I can actually see the difference. So this is Bubble Bath and Pretty in Pink. This is Pretty in Pink and Flirty Flamingo. They look pretty identical to me. Isn't that weird how you can use 2 different colours and have them come out pretty much the same? Anyway, we'll let them dry for a second while we contemplate our next step. I have no idea which one I'm going to use yet. I think I might just end up using this one because these are quite nice and light. And I'm going to have a lot of stuff on the top, so I might end up using this one where the images are a bit lighter. But anyway, that is wasn't that much harder to do or more difficult, but maybe if I played around with the colours we might be able to get something a bit different in here. Or maybe if I'd spritzed it with water we would have got a watercolour-y look. That's a good idea. Will we try that? Let's try that. If I've got any Pretty in Pink paper over here. I think I have. Let's try that and see what happens. You like number 2? The darker one? I'm going to see what happens when I spritz it. I'm big on experimenting. Now, what size cardstock do I need? I'll just cut some quickly 14.3. Now this, I've made this to first, what I call first layer size. Right, let's get that little folder again. Open up our ink pads. The rest of the card should come together quite quickly, so hopefully I won't be too much over time. This has still got quite a bit of ink on it, so I'll clean it off. Do I have a spritzer? That's another matter. I must have one here somewhere. I'll have to just find it. So we started with Pretty in Pink. And we're going on the flat side of the embossing folder. Stamp some of those around the place. Carefully, gently. Not that it's going to matter because I'm going to just hit it with water. Carefully, gently. And need some variation in our carefully, gently. Right, we'll move over to the flirty. See what I'm doing here. One there and one up here. Just unfold that a bit. Right. Now let me find a spritzer. I should have one here somewhere. I wonder if any of these. Now I've got to stand up. Let me not pull everything off the desk. Let's see if any of these got water in them. Oh, this one's got something in it. I wonder if it's water or alcohol. It smells like water, which means doesn't smell. Okay, let's move everything out of the road a bit. I'm just going to lightly, very, very lightly, so I've got it quite a long way away up here somewhere. I'm just going to spritz it. It's not enough to run. Oops. Just seeing whether it will even make any difference. It's not even running. Just give it a little bit more of a spritz. Okay, let's put it in there now and see what happens. The pressure from the embossing folder should theoretically push the ink around a little bit. Okay, we'll fold it down over the top and squish it through. Let's see what happens. So Barb likes number 2 as well. Hello, Melanie. It's very wet. I don't have a dryer here. A dryer. I'll just put this out of the road. My heat tool is somewhere over there. But anyway, that is quite pretty. So this was the one that I did. So this was number 2, the one that you girls liked, that I put through the embossing folder, into the embossing folder, and this was straight onto the paper with the lighter inks. And this is this actually is very nice, but I will say that it probably doesn't suit the clean, crisp style that I'm using today. But that's very nice. So I will put that away and use it for something else. Gives you a lovely textural effect, but not the distinct leaf, so I quite like that. All right, I'll put that one away and dry. Only I might use it, but only because my heat tool is way over there and not close to me. And you like this one, so we'll use this one. So we'll put this one out. So this is going to go on here like this, but we're going to do a little bit to this paper first. Of course we are. So I have here some designer series paper. Now this one is from the Hobby Haven's Designer Series paper. This one has knitting and sewing stuff on it. So that's paper is all based around hobbies. It is quite it's an interesting set, but I found that when I was creating with it for the design with the All-Star tutorial bundle, I just cut all these little things out. It does come with punch outs as well, so I used a combination of both, but today I'm not using those. That's not really my normal style, so I'm trying to utilize this set in something that's more my style. So I pulled out this paper to use this side, and I've also pulled out, I needed some navy, so I pulled out, this is the Floral Charms, I think it is, paper. I've put it away now. That was very stupid of me, wasn't it? It's over here, so let me find out. It's, the stamp set and dies are on the last chance list, but the paper isn't. The paper is still not on the last chance. Floral Charm, I was correct. So it's this beautiful paper. It's not on the last chance list, but the stamp set and dies are. So if you were interested in those and didn't get them, go over and check out what the pricing is on it. I didn't get those ones. I was so tempted to get them because they're on sale, but you know, that would be silly because I don't know how long they're going to last, because once they're on the last chance list, you're just not sure how long they're going to last. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of tearing. So I'm going to mix these patterns up. I'm not sure in what direction though. I'm just having a look to see what works best here. I think I'll put the dark one at the bottom. All right, so I'm going to tear this paper, and I think I'll tear it so the white edge shows. Like that. Do I want the white to show at the bottom or not? Do I want the white to show? Might be a bit much white. No, I could push it down a bit, I suppose. Push it down a bit like this. Now we'll put this one over the top, and we'll do another little diagonal tear. Can you hear the little brains, the little wheels in my head clicking away? That's all right, Sharon. I've been experimenting. Yes. Now, and the silent bits where I stop talking is my brain going, what am I going to do now? This is a very bad thing to come live without having a card done beforehand. Now we're going to put this bit up on here, so I need to tear some of this off. Probably have to tear, oh, we can just trim the top off, can't we? Yep, can just trim the top off. So I'm tearing it this way so I get the fluffy edge. I don't need to tear the top off. So that's what we're going to have, something like that. We can trim this bottom bit off. And then this will go on here. I have no idea what this is going to look like. We will just keep going. Right, let's put this bit on first. And I'm not putting glue right at the bottom because I know I'm going to trim some of that off. Can't remember where I had it, but that'll do. Glue showing? No, it's all good. And this one, it's a big bit of paper, isn't it? That's right. I could have got away with much smaller bits of paper. I've been very wasteful. Down there like that. And then let's see how this ended up. That's pretty good. We'll glue that one down. Right. there we go. Now I've just got to trim this bit off the bottom. Just having a look at my comments here. The blue paper. Yes, that whole charming, you mean this darker blue one, Barb? That's Floral Charms, and the whole set of paper is absolutely gorgeous. All of the patterns, love them all. All right, so that's just to add a little bit of interest at the bottom. Now I'll keep these because I might use these somewhere on the inside, maybe not that one. So this is going to sit on our folded navy card. So that's why I wanted some navy in the bottom to bring that colour in. And then we've got these two tags. Now I want to, you know, that's a lovely card, but it's just not enough for me. I had Tracy came and visited me, Tracy Leslie, a very good friend of mine, came and visited, and she was crafting with me yesterday, and she's like, please stop putting things on your card. Stop right now. Do not put anything else on your card. Because I am quite the one for keeping, I'm just reading the comments, sorry. You've never stamped on an embossing folder. Well, there you go. That one works really well, Sharon, because it has that huge flat side. Sometimes they don't work quite so well if they don't have a big flat side on them, but that worked quite well. All right, so this can get glued on because we're not going to do anything else with that. Just going to have a look at something for a minute. I'm just having a quick look here. Brenda, for some reason YouTube has hidden your comment where you said very pretty. I have no idea why. So I'm just going to try and stop it doing that because it keeps doing that. So normally Sharon Marden comes in as my moderator and she fixes it when YouTube does that. And apparently I can't do anything about it because I'm not a moderator on my own channel. So soft and pretty. So Brenda is saying, I'll just repeat your messages, Brenda. I'm so sorry they're not showing. Brenda has said very pretty and so soft and pretty. Oh, there's lots of them. You like number 2? For some reason or other, it's just gone back and deleted all your messages, Brenda. I am so sorry. Oh, Sharon's here. Sharon is here. Having trouble. Think I may have clicked something I shouldn't have. Okay. Yeah, I can't bring them back, Sharon. For some reason, I'm not a moderator on my own channel. All right. Don't you hate it when you press something and then everything goes haywire? Right, let's glue this on. Okay. I don't know that I'll craft in here again because I'm feeling quite discombobulated. It's lovely and bright, but yeah. All right, so we've got our background done. Now I did die cut a heap of the leaves, the foliage from the Creative Haven dies. So it's got 2 foliage dies for some reason. So I've die cut a heap of them in Bubble Bath and Night of Navy, and we'll just see how many we need. Now I did also do some on white, and then I coloured them with the Pool Party Stampin' Blends, but look at the difference in the colour. They're quite, so this is the Bubble Bath, just die cut out of cardstock, and this is coloured with the Stampin' Blends, and it was very, very different. So I sort of thought, oh, Not sure about that. So I'll pull them aside, but I like the little bit of difference to match in, so I have pulled them out. So we're going to try something, which is why I've got so many. So we're just going to try something on these. Flip them all up the right way. So this is my Bubble Bath Stampin' Blends. Let's try one and see what it looks like. So see it's quite a different colour, but it might look a bit better on the Bubble Bath card than it does on the so the light first, then I'm just adding a little bit of dark into the centre. Now, as I always say, if you want to make a much simpler card, just skip half the steps that I do. So then we've got something that has got that, it's Bubble Bath, but it's got that slightly darker shading. So I do quite like that. So I'll go through and do a few of these up. Yeah, but you could just use the Bubble Bath. We could die cut them out of Pretty in Pink, I guess, seeing as we've used that colour as well. But, you know. My philosophy on crafting is, if you've got lots of stuff, use it. And I've got lots of stuff, so I use it. So I'm just laying the brush end flat and smooshing some colour onto here. We probably won't use all of these, but I'll just colour them all in. Some can go on the inside. So smooshy, smooshy. Blends out very nicely on the coloured card, and then we'll come in with the dark and just add some little bit of shading. Now, if you have any blobs, I could go back and blend them, seeing as these are Stampin' Blends, but I think they'll blend in together quite nicely. And this one, and we'll just have a look at the difference between the white card. This is very pretty, this colour, but it's just a little too different to the pink in the background. It makes a really pretty baby pink. So that's the Bubble Bath Stampin' Blends on white cardstock. Quite different, quite pretty, but we're going to use these ones because they tone in a little better. Pop those out of the road, and I'm going to put these onto this blue tag. So we'll just do a little bit of quick positioning. See when that, oops, dropped one. Lucky I've got extras because it's on the floor forever till the dog gets it. If I put them on there something like that, and then this will sit over the top. So I'll just wriggle them around a bit. Find out where I want to stick them. So something like that. Can't really see this one, I didn't colour it enough. Let me add a little bit more colour. So it's a little bit darker in that area there. Right. Okay, so that's sort of roughly where they need to go. So I'll glue those on off my card. And I'm just going to add little bits of glue to the centre. Brenda's back. Yay! Thank you, Barb. And thank you, Sharon. Your iPad is glitching. Oh dear. All right. Good to see you here though. Now, if I can get my glue to work, I'm just going to sort of add little bits. I should have my silicone mat out, and now I can't remember where that one was. But anyway, it's old lady crafting. When I'm not creating live, I would have taken a photo of that and then opened up my phone and just recreated it from the photo, because I have this thing, and I'm sure it must be old age or menopause or something, like especially with numbers, I can look at it, I can say it. As soon as I take my eyes off it, I can't remember it. It's the same with crafting. I can't remember which position I had things in that I've just picked up. Like, what? Seriously? I'm guessing that I'm not alone in that. Having trouble with the internet at your end, Sharon? Because... Oh, Brenda, that's lovely. Yes. I'm glad that I've inspired you to purchase it. It is really, really... It's an interesting set, Creative Haven. And I don't know if you get the All-Star Tutorial bundle off one of the demos from over there. I can't remember who is in Canada. Who's it? Rose Coleman, I think, is in Canada, and she sells it because she's one of the designers. And they've got some great ideas in there for how to use it. Now I'll have to see how that looks, whether I have to add any more in, because I'll put them all in the wrong place. Oh, that'll be okay, I think. Right. Okay, so now we need to put these two tags together. Now, this is going to be interesting, and again, I should have a... I've got a scrap of paper somewhere over here. Oh, I've made a mess of my card anyway. It doesn't really matter. I don't have any ribbon. The ribbon that comes with this suite is this one. It's green. It's lovely and fine. It works really well for tags. It's called Garden Green Chevron Ribbon, I think. And it's really fine. It's lovely, but it's not quite the right colour for what I'm doing. And I didn't want to add in any garden green. So this is what I did. Now I coloured it with Pool Party Stampin' Blend, and it does tone the green down and adds a Pool Party effect in. I did try the pink, but the pink isn't quite, I mean it's pinky, but it's still got that green tinge in the chevron, whereas this one sort of tones it right down. It does make it, when you add the Stampin' Blend to it, it does make it a lot stiffer. This is lovely and soft. I'm sure that if I went like this a few times it'll soften it up again, but be aware that for some reason when you add Stampin' Blends to ribbon it makes them a bit stiffer, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'll start around about here and just add some Pool Party. Now I went looking everywhere for Coastal Cabana blends. I don't think they make them. Is Sharon still there? That cleans the photopolymer, you mean? Yeah, it's always been an issue, Leonie, with the photopolymer. I mean, the StazOn cleaner does get a lot of the ink off, but those red colours really stain. And I have heard before to use Versamark first before you use even a normal ink on your photopolymer. If you ink it with Versamark first and then ink it, but if you do that constantly you're going to get Versamark in your ink pad. Is that enough? I think so. So that's, you know, I do that when I'm embossing as well, but you have to be a little careful. But Stampin' Mist is pretty good, especially if you've got the Stampin' Scrub. Have you got the Stampin' Scrub, Leonie? I'm not alone in my memory retention. Is that what it is, Brenda? Yes. I figured there'd be lots of people that are the same struggle to remember things. Right, so I've given this a bit of a, it's still a bit wet. I'm just giving it a little bit of a massage to try and not let it go quite so stiff. Right, so I'm going to tie these together. How are they going to sit? Something like that. I might tie them together and then stick it together. If it needs it, might not need it. I'm just going to put this through here and tie a bow. So, you know, considering that I just didn't have any suitable, I have balmy blue ribbon, but that it's not quite the same colour. So it's just, though, if you put your mind to it, there's usually a solution to everything. And I think this ribbon goes quite well now with the pool party in the background. It sort of turns the green to almost a coastal cabana colour. Right, just find my ribbon scissors, which are here somewhere. Does look yucky when the stamp's stained. Yes, it does. I agree. It's something that you just have to deal with, I suppose. But yeah, it's it depends on your personality, I guess, because some people don't seem to care. And then for someone who does, I'm quite pedantic in a lot of ways, aren't I, Sharon Marden? But, you know, and there are some things that I'm really fussy about, but then Sharon Marden comes over here to class and looks at my ink pads and goes, oh my goodness, can I clean those, please? So, you know, it's for some reason the ink pads getting fingerprints all over them or what have you doesn't worry me, but other things it does. It's strange. All right, so that's going to be our little card, and that is basically it. I'm going to add some shiny things. I will put an insert in. I won't do that now, but I'll use all these these torn bits to form a little edge along the bottom on the inside. And there is a lovely sentiment in the stamp set. Where is the stamp set? Way over here. So on the inside I'll probably put so happy to have you in, because I've got you're the best on the outside, so happy to have you in my life, or even you deserve all the good things. And I'll put that on the inside with the bits of torn. It's going to sit something like that. So we can glue that on, and I might just pop a dimensional underneath this one on the top here. Down a fraction, something like that. Grab a dimensional and switch R over here. And you know what? I don't think I've got any large ones, so we'll have to use a scrap. And it just needs one, just to hold it up a little bit. Or maybe two. It's too late, I've only got one now. That'll do. And embellishment wise, the embellishments that come in the Creative Haven suite are not really suitable for this. These are these ones, which are quite moody and dark and earthy tones. There's Early Espresso, I think that's Pecan Pie. Is that Misty Moonlight? Doesn't have the colours on here, and I haven't got a package done up for it yet, and I don't know what that is. Cajun Craze, maybe. Probably the same colours that are in the paper, but I don't have that out either. But anyway, they're not the right colours for this, not even the blue. So I did pull out my absolute favourite at the moment, which is the Frosted Iridescent Dots, which are on the last chance list in Australia. So you can see I have lots of them because I really love them. They come with the Lights of Aurora suite, and they are gorgeous, but yeah, they are on the last chance list, so, and they are discounted in Australia anyway. So now, will I use blue? This is balmy blue, but you can, because they're iridescent, they change colour to suit whatever you're working with. Or I could use the pink, which is a little bit too pink, I think. Purple, got no other purple. It's gold, no, we'll use the blue. Okay, so we'll just scatter a few of those around. We'll use some of these ones up. Where will we put them? And some small ones. Now, will I put one up in here? I need two if I'm going to pop one in there, I think. Who does this? Who else does this? Like, flicks it around all over the place until you find somewhere that you're happy with it. I'm a shocker. An absolute shocker. Will that do? Sharon? Will that do? Well, will I put some more on? I'm going to put one here. And it needs another one up there too. 5. We'll put one up here. There we go. That'll do. I'm walking away. Oh, Tracy will watch this back and laugh. That stamp set wasn't on your radar. It's actually quite cute. It wasn't on my radar either. I had to get it because I'm going to put something under there that's annoying me. Because it was a project. It was for the All-Star tutorial bundle. But I actually really enjoyed creating for the. There we go. That's a bit better. I enjoyed creating for the tutorial. I really did. So I will tell you that the little, I'll pull it out and show you. The little, maybe I won't because I don't know where it is. Oh, it's over here. So these are all the little pop-outs. So they're all the different hobbies. So they make it really easy, but I did have to trim some of the edges off because I didn't like quite that amount of white. But there is an inordinate amount of fussy cutting you can do out of the paper that comes with it. All the different elements. These are the ones I've already popped out. And they're really quite easy to fussy cut. And there's just so many different elements that you can use. And it really makes quite simple cards. The one that I would equate it to is the Cheers and Sips paper, the celebratory sips. That's really good for that sort of thing too. But anyway, that is my card. So I will make an insert and put that in, but I won't do that now. So that's my card. Something not my usual style, I wouldn't say. But this set screamed, I've got glue on there. Oh, Cheryl. This set screamed to do something a little bit more, I would call it retro fun. Does that make sense? Let me go back to my face so I'm not talking to myself. Thank you, Barb. You, and then you pull it off. Oh, for the little, what are they? Embellishments, yes. Yes, the amount of times I'll look at that later and I'll go, well, that was a stupid place to put it, and I'll be trying to make sure that it comes off. Thank you, Barb. And Sharon. Cheryl always does that to me. Makes you want to buy something. So yes, the sentiments are lovely and they're really good for, as I said, emboss resist. They work really well for that. And all the little tags are amazing. So yes, you had no interest either, Brenda. Well, I'm glad that I'm enabling some people. Yes, we all seem to think that the stamps look yucky when they stain. Yes, I agree. It would be lovely if we didn't have to try and come up with a solution for that, but I'm not. Ever since I've been using photopolymer stamps, that has been an issue. So, yeah, it's well, the light's quite bright now. Very bright outside. It must be hot outside. Is it hot outside, Sharon? Sharon's just around suburb over from me. So, all right, ladies, thank you so much. I will go and finish that card off and put the insert in now, and I'll put some photos and a supplies list up in the Blue Mushroom group. So that's my live group over on Facebook, and I'll put the link to that in the video description below once I get it done. So if you're coming back in, you can get all the measurements, although they're pretty simple to work out. Thank you very much, ladies. So Sharon says it's hot where she is. Yes, will be hot. It's nice and cool in this house, but it'll be hot outside. Thank you very much, and we will see you again next week. Thanks so much, ladies.